me tell you something. There are people watching you right now, not just watching, but studying you, analyzing you, measuring your steps, your victories, your growth. And while they may smile in your face, deep down inside, there's something burning within them. Envy. They won't always show it, but oh, it's there. It lingers in the way they react when you succeed. It's hidden in the silence when they should be clapping. It's in the hesitation when they should be celebrating you. They see something in you, a light, a strength, a purpose, that unsettles them. They wonder how you keep pushing forward, how you rise when life knocks you down, how, despite everything you've been through, you still stand tall. You see, people don't envy the weak. They don't envy those who give up. No one wastes time envying someone who's ordinary. They envy the strong. They envy those with resilience, fire, and purpose. They envy those who take hits and refuse to stay down. They envy the ones who shine without permission, who walk into a room and shift the atmosphere without even trying. People don't envy the ones who give up. They don't waste their energy resenting those who settle for less, who never take risks, who never strive for more. No, envy is reserved for those who push forward no matter the obstacles. It's for the ones who refuse to break even when life tries to shatter them. The people who envy you may never say it out loud, but they see your strength. They see the way you rise after every fall, how you keep going even when the odds are stacked against you. And deep down, it bothers them. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your resilience reminds them of their own limitations. They wonder how you keep moving, how you don't give in to pressure, how you don't let circumstances define you. And that, my friend, is where the envy begins. It's rooted in admiration they don't want to admit. You see, weak people don't inspire envy. No one sits around thinking about someone who never tries, never fights, never strives. But when you walk into a room carrying confidence, when you keep climbing while others stay stagnant, people notice. They notice the way you refuse to accept defeat. They see how you transform your pain into power, how you use your struggles as fuel rather than an excuse. And for some, that's unsettling, because when they look at you, they don't just see your success. They see the reflection of everything they could be if only they had your mindset, your determination, your willpower. That's what stings the most. It's not that they dislike you. It's that they wish they had what you have, and instead of being inspired by it, they let resentment creep in. Envy isn't about what you have. It's about what others believe they lack in comparison to you. Every time you overcome something that was meant to break you, someone is watching. They might not say a word, but they're taking notes. They see how you don't let setbacks define you, how you keep showing up for yourself no matter how difficult the journey gets. And while they may act indifferent, deep down they wonder how you do it. How do you keep smiling after being hurt? How do you stay focused when distractions try to pull you away? How do you carry yourself with strength when life throws storms your way? They wish they had your endurance, your self-belief, your power to stand tall in the face of adversity. And because they don't, they envy. They wish they could harness the same inner fire that you do, but instead of asking how you do it, instead of learning from you, they let bitterness grow. That's why envy is never truly about you, it's about them. People envy what they can't control, and they can't control you. They can't break you, they can't discourage you, they can't make you quit. No matter what they throw your way, you rise above it. That's frustrating for them, because they live in a world where they let fear dictate their actions. They hold themselves back. They let doubt silence them. They let failure define them. But you move differently. You refuse to let negativity consume you. You take every challenge and turn it into an opportunity. That kind of strength is rare. Most people don't have it. And instead of working to develop it, they find it easier to resent those who already do. They'd rather envy your strength than put in the work to build their own. They'd rather judge your confidence than face the insecurities within themselves. It's easier to criticize than it is to grow. That's why you'll notice some people acting differently around you when you succeed. Maybe they were supportive when you were struggling, but now that you're thriving, their energy has changed. They liked you better when you were unsure, when you doubted yourself. when you were just like them. But the moment you step into your power, the moment you stop apologizing for being great, the envy starts creeping in. Not everyone wants to see you win, even if they pretend they do. They may smile in your face, but behind closed doors, they wonder why it's you rising instead of them. Why do you have the strength to keep going when they gave up long ago? What makes you so different? What makes you unstoppable? And instead of seeing your journey as proof that they too can rise, they choose to let envy consume them. You have to understand that not everyone is strong enough to celebrate someone else's strength. Some people are so used to losing that when they see a winner, it makes them uncomfortable. Your perseverance makes them reflect on their own excuses. Your determination forces them to question why they haven't tried harder. Your ability to keep going despite the challenges reminds them of the times they gave up. And for some, that's too much to handle. It's easier to resent you than to face their own regrets. It's easier to envy you than to admit that they could be just as strong if they chose to be. But strength isn't something you're given, it's something you build. And you, my friend, have built yours through trials, through struggles, through moments when giving up seemed like the only option, but you refused. That's why they envy you, because they know they wouldn't have survived what you did. The truth is, some people envy you because they expected you to fail. They watched you go through hardship and thought it would break you. They counted you out. They assumed you would quit, that you would settle, that you would stay down, but you didn't. And that's what they can't stand. You prove them wrong without even trying. Your very existence challenges their expectations. Every time you rise, every time you prove your resilience, it reminds them that they were wrong about you. And some people would rather hold on to resentment than admit they misjudged you. They would rather envy you than accept that they underestimated your strength. It's not about what you've achieved, it's about the fact that you were supposed to fail, but you didn't. And now, they don't know how to handle it. People will envy you for things you didn't even know were special. It's not always about material success or external achievements. Sometimes they envy your peace. They envy your self-love. They envy the way you walk with confidence, the way you carry yourself, the way you don't let negativity shake you. They envy the way you stay true to yourself, the way you remain unbothered, the way you keep moving forward no matter what. They envy your mindset, your ability to find light in darkness, your capacity to keep going even when life gets tough. And because they don't have that within themselves, they project their insecurities onto you. They gossip, they undermine, they doubt, they belittle, but deep down it's just envy. They see something in you that they wish they had, and instead of being inspired by it, they let it turn into resentment. But here's the thing. You don't owe anyone an apology for being strong. You don't have to dim your light to make others comfortable. You don't have to explain why you keep pushing forward, why you refuse to settle, why you continue to chase your dreams. Your strength is yours, and you earned it. You fought for it. You built it through pain, through sacrifice, through moments that would have destroyed a weaker person. So if they envy you, let them. If they resent your strength, let them. That's not your burden to carry. Keep shining, keep growing, keep walking in your purpose, because the very thing they envy in you is the same thing that will set you apart, that will elevate you, that will lead you to places they never imagined. You were not built to fit in. You were built to rise. Some people won't hate you for what you do, they'll hate you for who you are. The moment you step into your light, the moment you start walking with confidence, the moment you begin to embrace your purpose, something shifts in the people around you. They start to see you differently. Not because you've changed, but because your light exposes the darkness they've been hiding in. It forces them to confront the truth about themselves, the dreams they've abandoned, the potential they've wasted, the fears they've allowed to control them. And that makes them uncomfortable. You never intended to be a mirror, but that's exactly what happens when you choose to rise. Your success, your drive, your hunger for more, it all serves as a silent reminder of everything they could be if only they had the courage to step out of their own shadows. But instead of learning from you, they envy. You have to understand that not everyone will celebrate your light. Some people are so used to darkness that anything bright feels like a threat. They've been living in a world of excuses, self-doubt, and fear for so long that when they see someone like you, someone who refuses to be held back, someone who pushes forward no matter what, it makes them uneasy. It's not that they dislike you personally, it's that they can't stand what you represent. You represent the version of themselves they gave up on. You remind them of all the times they chose comfort over growth, fear over faith, and weakness over strength. And instead of being inspired, they resent you for it. They don't want to admit that they could have done more, that they could have tried harder, that they could have been better. So they turn their frustration toward you, not realizing their battle isn't with you, it's with themselves. Your light is powerful. It doesn't just brighten your path, it reveals everything around you. And when you step into it, when you start embracing who you were meant to be, it forces people to face their own reality. Some will be inspired, some will cheer you on, but others, they will try to find ways to dim your light. They will criticize, mock, and belittle, not because you've done anything wrong, but because they feel exposed. They can no longer hide behind the illusion that life is unfair, that success is impossible, that greatness is out of reach. You prove that it is possible, that greatness is achievable, that nothing is stopping them except for themselves. And that's a truth many aren't ready to accept. So instead of stepping into their own light, they try to pull you back into the darkness they're comfortable in. You'll notice it when you start succeeding. When you begin elevating, some people around you will act differently. They'll become distant, cold, even dismissive. They'll make little comments disguised as jokes, questioning your choices, downplaying your achievements. They won't openly hate, but they won't celebrate you either. Why? Because your growth highlights their stagnation. Your discipline magnifies their laziness. Your ambition makes their excuses harder to justify. And the only way they can cope with that is by pretending that your success is a fluke, that you got lucky, that you changed. But the truth is, you didn't change. You just stopped playing small. You stopped dimming your light to make others feel comfortable. And now they don't know how to handle it. The hardest thing to accept is that some of the people you thought would support you will be the first to resent you. Not because you wronged them, but because your light exposes their unwillingness to change. You may not even realize it, but just by being yourself, just by growing, just by pushing forward, you are making some people feel inadequate. And instead of being motivated, they let bitterness take root. They tell themselves it's unfair. They look at your journey and convince themselves you had it easier, that you were given opportunities they weren't, that your success came from external factors rather than your hard work. Because if they admit that you built yourself, that you overcame obstacles, that you refused to quit, then they'd have to admit that they could have done the same. And that's a truth they'd rather avoid. But you are not responsible for how others react to your light. You were not put on this earth to stay small so that others can feel big. You were not meant to dim yourself just to keep people comfortable in their mediocrity. If your light makes them uncomfortable, that's their battle to fight, not yours. Your only job is to keep shining, to keep growing, to keep walking in your purpose. Because for every person who envies you, there is someone who is inspired by you. For every person who resents you, there is someone who looks up to you. You are a walking testimony that it is possible to rise, to heal, to build, to thrive. And if that makes some people uncomfortable, so be it. You were not created to blend into the darkness. You were created to shine. They will try to downplay your growth. They will act as if your achievements don't matter. They will pretend not to notice your success, your transformation, but deep down they see it. They see everything, and it burns them up inside. Because while they're still making excuses, still waiting for the perfect moment, still holding themselves back, you are moving forward. You are doing the things they told themselves were impossible. You are breaking generational cycles, stepping into new levels, creating a life they never thought was achievable. And rather than using that as fuel to push themselves, they choose to envy. But envy is just admiration they don't know how to express. They don't hate you, they hate that you proved them wrong. They hate that you refuse to be limited the way they limited themselves. Some people will try to bring you back down, not because they want to destroy you, but because they want to keep you at a level they can relate to. They were comfortable when you were struggling, when you were uncertain, when you were just like them. But now you're speaking differently, you're thinking differently, you're moving differently, and that scares them. Because if you can change, if you can grow, if you can elevate, then what's their excuse? They realize they have no one to blame but themselves, and that realization is too painful for them to face, so instead, they make you the enemy. They try to convince themselves that you've lost your way, that you've forgotten where you came from. But the truth is, you haven't forgotten. You've just outgrown the version of yourself they were comfortable with. Let them envy, let them talk, let them watch. Because at the end of the day, their opinion doesn't define your destiny. Their resentment doesn't limit your potential. Their inability to celebrate you doesn't take away from your greatness. You were given this light for a reason. You've worked for it, you've earned it, you've fought for it. And no amount of envy, bitterness, or resentment should ever make you question your worth. Keep shining, keep pushing, keep evolving, because the ones who truly matter will never be threatened by your light. They will be empowered by it. There's a kind of support that isn't real, a kind that feels empty, forced, and laced with something unspoken. It comes with smiles that don't reach the eyes, congratulations that sound rehearsed, and energy that doesn't match the words being spoken. This is fake support. The kind that looks good on the surface but feels off in your spirit. The kind that doesn't uplift you but leaves you questioning. And the truth is, fake support is often nothing more than hidden envy. Some people won't openly admit they envy you, but their actions will tell you everything you need to know. They'll act like they're in your corner, but deep down, they're waiting for you to fail. They'll pretend to clap for you, but their hands are never truly open. They don't celebrate your success, they tolerate it, and that's a dangerous energy to keep around you. You can feel it when it's not real. You can sense when someone's words don't match their heart. They'll congratulate you, but their tone is off. They'll show up, but their presence feels more like an obligation than genuine support. They'll say they're happy for you, but their eyes tell a different story. That's because envy is a heavy burden to carry, and no matter how hard someone tries to hide it, it always leaks through. A person who truly supports you won't feel threatened by your growth. They won't hesitate to celebrate you, uplift you, and push you higher. But someone who secretly envies you, they'll only support you as long as you don't surpass them. The moment you start excelling beyond what they imagine, that fake support starts to crack and their true feelings begin to show. Fake support isn't about love, it's about control. Some people only pretend to support you so they can keep you close. They don't want to see you fail completely, but they don't want to see you win too much either. They like having access to you, knowing your moves, staying in your circle, because that gives them a sense of control. But the second you start making moves they can't predict, the second you start rising in ways they never expected, they start acting different. They withdraw, they become distant, they stop showing up the way they used to, not because they've lost interest, but because they can no longer pretend. They realize they can't fake it anymore. They can't pretend they're happy for you when every new level you reach reminds them of how little they've grown. Envy doesn't always show up as hatred. Sometimes it disguises itself as passive-aggressive comments, backhanded compliments, or subtle dismissals of your success. Someone who envies you won't always tear you down directly, but they'll never fully lift you up either. They'll tell you, "That's great, but," or "You're doing well, but don't get ahead of yourself." They'll remind you of your past failures, your struggles, your setbacks, not to motivate you, but to humble you, because deep down, they need to believe that you're not too far ahead of them. They need to convince themselves that your success is temporary, that you'll eventually come back down to their level. And when you don't, when you keep rising despite their doubts, their fake support starts turning into resentment. Some people will keep you around just to monitor your progress. They don't support you because they believe in you. They support you because they want to keep tabs on you. They want to know what you're doing, who you're talking to, what your next move is, so they can compare, compete, or even copy. They might even act like they're rooting for you, but the moment they see you winning in a way they can't, their energy shifts. Suddenly, they're too busy to respond. Suddenly, they stop engaging with your success. Suddenly, their words become short, their presence fades and their enthusiasm disappears. That's because they weren't clapping for you, they were clapping for themselves, for the comfort of knowing you weren't too far ahead. And now that you are, they don't know how to handle it. Real support doesn't come with limits. It doesn't come with jealousy, conditions, or hidden agendas. A person who truly supports you won't need to force it. They won't need to fake enthusiasm, hold back compliments, or downplay your success. They will celebrate you fully, without hesitation, without bitterness, without resentment, because they don't see your success as a threat. They see it as proof that greatness is possible. But fake supporters, they don't see possibility, they see competition. They see a reminder of what they haven't done, what they could have been, what they were too afraid to pursue, and rather than using that as motivation, they let it turn into envy. They don't hate you for what you have, they hate you for proving that it can be done. The most dangerous part about fake support is that it often comes from people you trust, people you've shared dreams with, people you've struggled with, people you thought would always be in your corner. And that's what makes it hurt the most, because it's not always strangers who envy you, it's the people closest to you. The ones who watch you start from nothing, who saw you at your lowest, who knew your struggles firsthand. You would think they'd be the happiest for you, but sometimes they're the ones who envy you the most, because they remember when you were just like them, and now that you're not, they don't know how to deal with that. Your growth reminds them of the potential they ignored in themselves. And instead of being inspired, they become bitter. But you don't need fake support. You don't need people who only cheer for you when it's convenient, who only clap when it benefits them, who only stand by you as long as you stay at a level they can handle. You need real ones. The ones who celebrate you without hesitation, who push you higher even when they have nothing to gain, who genuinely want to see you win. Because real supporters don't just show up for the good times. They walk with you through every stage, through every struggle, through every victory, without jealousy, without envy, without pretense. And when you find those people, hold on to them. Because in a world full of hidden envy, real support is rare. And when you have it, you'll never have to question it. There's something different about you. Always has been. You walk into a room and even without trying, you command attention. Not because you're loud, not because you seek the spotlight, but because there's something about you that refuses to blend in. You were never meant to fit the mold, never meant to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You were born to stand out. And the truth is, not everyone will celebrate that. Some people will admire it, others will be inspired by it, but there will always be those who resent it. Because when you stand out, you remind people of what they've buried in themselves. The dreams they ignored, the potential they never embraced, the courage they never found. And that makes them uncomfortable. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your existence alone challenges them to face their own fears. From a young age, you felt it. The way people looked at you differently, the way some embraced you while others tried to dim your light. Maybe you were told to quiet down, to not take up too much space, to be like everyone else. Maybe you learned early on that standing out comes with a cost, that not everyone will clap for you, that sometimes the world prefers those who blend in. But no matter how hard you tried to fit in, something in you resisted. Because deep down you knew you were meant for more. You weren't designed to follow the crowd, to live in the shadows of others, to shrink yourself for acceptance. You were built to lead, to create, to inspire. And no amount of outside pressure could erase that truth. Standing out isn't just about talent, success, or status. It's about presence. It's about the way you carry yourself, the energy you bring, the way you make people feel when you walk into a room. And some people can't handle that. They see your confidence, your drive, your authenticity, and instead of being inspired, they feel threatened because your light exposes their insecurities. Your fearlessness reminds them of the courage they never had. Your willingness to be different highlights their decision to stay the same. And rather than facing their own doubts, they project them onto you. They label you as too much, too different, too bold. Not because there's something wrong with you, but because they don't know how to handle someone who refuses to live by their limitations. The road of standing out is not easy. It's lonely at times. Because when you refuse to conform, you lose people along the way. Friends who don't understand your journey, family members who don't see your vision, peers who resent your growth. There will be moments when you wonder if it's worth it. If blending in would make life easier. If dimming your light would bring you more acceptance. But you didn't come this far just to disappear into the background. You weren't built to be average, to play small, to live a life that pleases others but suffocates your soul. You were made for impact, and impact requires standing out. Even when it's uncomfortable, even when it costs you relationships, even when it makes you the target of envy and criticism. People will always have something to say. They will judge you for being different, for breaking the mold, for stepping into spaces they never imagined for you. They'll call you lucky, as if your success wasn't earned. They'll doubt you, waiting for the moment you fall. They'll try to box you in, limit you, define you on their terms, but they don't get to decide your path. They don't get to dictate your purpose. You were born to stand out, and nothing they say or do can change that. The only question is, will you embrace it? Or will you let the world convince you to play small? Will you walk in your purpose unapologetically, or will you shrink yourself to fit a version of you that makes others comfortable? True strength lies in owning who you are, in standing tall even when people try to cut you down, in continuing to shine even when others try to dim your light. The greatest leaders, innovators, and game changers in history were people who refused to conform. They were told they were too much, too different, too ambitious. But they didn't let that stop them. They understood that standing out is a gift, not a curse. They knew that blending in meant sacrificing their greatness, and they refused to do that. And now, because they stood firm in who they were, the world remembers them. They left a legacy, not because they were like everyone else, but because they were unapologetically themselves. And that's the power you hold. You have the ability to leave an impact, to change lives, to inspire generations, not by fitting in, but by standing out, by being bold in your authenticity, by walking in your truth, by refusing to let fear dictate your path. The world doesn't need another copy of someone else. It needs you. It needs your voice, your vision, your unique way of seeing things. It needs you to embrace your difference, to step fully into your power, to own the space you were meant to occupy. Because when you do, you don't just set yourself free, you give others permission to do the same. You become a beacon for those who have been afraid to shine. So stop apologizing for who you are. Stop questioning whether you're too much. Stop doubting your gifts just because others don't understand them. You were born to stand out for a reason. The world may try to silence you, to make you doubt yourself, to convince you that you're too different. But different is where the magic is. Different is where breakthroughs happen. Different is what creates change. And you were never meant to be anything but extraordinary. So own it, live it, walk in it, because the moment you fully embrace who you are, the world has no choice but to take notice. Success changes everything. It shifts the way people see you, the way they treat you, the way they talk about you when you're not around. At first, they celebrate you. They clap for you, pat you on the back, tell you they always believed in you. But as you keep rising, as you start accomplishing things they never imagined for you or for themselves, that applause begins to fade. The energy shifts. The smiles become forced. The conversations grow distant, and before you know it, the very people who once stood beside you are nowhere to be found. Not because you did anything wrong, not because you changed for the worse, but because your success has created a gap they can't cross. It's not that you left them behind, it's that they chose not to grow with you. See, success is not just about achieving your goals. It's about elevation. It's about rising above mediocrity, breaking free from limitations, stepping into a version of yourself that demands more, expects more, and refuses to settle. And not everyone is built for that journey. Some people are comfortable where they are. They don't want more. They just don't want you to have more either. They don't mind being stagnant as long as you stay there with them. But the moment you start moving differently, thinking bigger, refusing to accept less than what you deserve, they feel exposed. Because your growth reminds them of their complacency. Your ambition highlights their excuses. Your success forces them to confront the fact that they could have done more. But they didn't. And so rather than clapping, they criticize. Rather than supporting, they distance themselves. Rather than being inspired, they become resentful. They start questioning your success, downplaying your hard work, convincing themselves you must have had it easier than they did. Because if they admit that you earned it, that you sacrificed for it, that you pushed through pain, rejection, and obstacles to get where you are, they would have to acknowledge that they could have done the same. And that's too heavy for some people to face. So instead, they find reasons to resent you. They say you've changed, that you think you're better than them, that you forgot where you came from. But the truth is, you didn't forget. You just refused to stay stuck. Success separates you from the crowd, not because you wanted to leave people behind, but because you refused to stay in a place that didn't align with your future. You realize that not everyone is meant to go where you're going. Some people were only meant to be part of your journey for a season, not a lifetime. And the sooner you accept that, the easier it becomes to keep moving forward. Because the greatest mistake you can make is trying to drag people with you who were never meant to go. You can inspire them, encourage them, show them what's possible, but you can't force them to rise if they're committed to standing still. The higher you climb, the smaller your circle becomes. Not because you don't want people around you, but because the air is different at the top. It requires a different mindset, a different level of discipline, a different kind of resilience. And not everyone is built for that. Some people would rather stay where it's safe, where it's familiar, where they don't have to push past their comfort zones. And that's okay. But you weren't built for average. You weren't designed to play small. You weren't created to spend your life pleasing people who don't have the same vision, the same hunger, the same drive as you do. So don't apologize for your success. Don't feel guilty for outgrowing spaces that no longer fit you. Don't shrink yourself to make others comfortable. The ones who truly love you will celebrate your growth. They will clap when you win, even if they're not winning yet. They will support you even when it reminds them of what they haven't accomplished. And the ones who can't do that, they were never meant to be part of your next chapter. Let them go, wish them well. But don't dim your light to keep them close. Because success isn't just about what you achieve. It's about who you become in the process. It's about the lessons you learn, the mindset you develop, the strength you build along the way. It's about proving to yourself that you were always capable, that you always had it in you, that the vision you saw for your life was real. And that requires you to keep going, to keep growing, to keep leveling up, even if it means standing alone for a while. Not everyone will understand your journey. Not everyone will support your climb. But that's not your problem to fix. Your job is to keep becoming everything you were meant to be. Because at the end of the day, success isn't about being accepted. It's about fulfilling your purpose. And the ones who are meant to be with you at the top, they will find their way there too. The rest, they were never meant to make it that far. And that's okay. Your journey isn't just about you. Every step you take, every obstacle you overcome, every moment you refuse to quit, it's not just shaping your destiny, it's lighting the way for someone else. You may not see them, you may not hear them, but trust me, they're watching. Someone out there is struggling, feeling lost, wondering if they have what it takes to push through, and then they see you. They see you fighting, growing, elevating, becoming, and in that moment, you give them hope. You become proof that change is possible, that resilience pays off, that no matter how hard life gets, there is always a way forward. Your journey, your persistence, your unwavering faith, it's inspiring the right people, even when you don't realize it. Because the truth is, not everyone will celebrate you. Not everyone will cheer for you when you take a risk, when you step into your purpose, when you break free from the limitations that once held you back. Some people will question you, doubt you, even resent you. Not because you've done anything wrong, but because your courage highlights their fear. Your growth reminds them of everything they've been too afraid to pursue. But that's not your burden to carry. You were never meant to stay small just to make others comfortable. You were never meant to dim your light so others wouldn't feel insecure. Your journey is meant to challenge, to shake things up, to push people to see what's possible when you refuse to settle. And the right people, They will see your struggle and find strength in it. They will watch you rise and realize they can too. They will take your story, your lessons, your victories, and use them as fuel for their own journey. That's the power of walking in your purpose. It doesn't just change your life, it creates a ripple effect. You might not even realize the number of lives you're impacting just by refusing to give up. That person who never had a role model, they're looking up to you. That friend who was about to quit, they're holding on because they see you pushing forward. That stranger who thought success wasn't possible for someone like them, they're believing again because you showed them it is. But here's the thing, you won't always get recognition for it. People won't always tell you how much you inspire them. They won't always express their gratitude. And that's okay. Your journey is not about applause. It's not about validation. It's about impact. It's about walking so boldly in your truth that others feel empowered to do the same. It's about proving, not just to yourself, but to everyone who ever doubted, that perseverance wins, that faith moves mountains, that hard work and dedication pay off in ways most people can't even imagine. You are not just succeeding for yourself. You are setting the stage for the next person who dares to dream. That's why you can't quit. That's why you can't let fear, doubt, or negativity slow you down. Because someone needs you to keep going. Someone needs to see you win. Someone needs to witness your journey so they can believe in their own. And the ones who are meant to be part of your journey, they will celebrate you. They will uplift you. They will grow with you. Those are your people. Those are the ones you keep close, not the ones who envy, not the ones who discourage, not the ones who try to keep you small. The right people will see your success as inspiration, not competition. So keep moving forward, keep evolving, keep stepping into the highest version of yourself, knowing that your journey is creating space for others to rise too. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just have to keep going. Because somewhere out there, someone is watching, someone is learning, someone is believing again because of you. There will always be people who feel uncomfortable with your light, not because you did anything wrong, not because you're trying to outshine them, but because your presence forces them to see their own shadows. Your confidence makes them question their insecurities. Your ambition makes them confront their complacency. Your success makes them realize how much they've settled. And instead of being inspired, instead of choosing to rise, they try to pull you down. They tell you to tone it down, to be more humble, to not make others feel small. But understand this, your light was never meant to be dimmed. You were not created to shrink yourself just so others could feel bigger. You were not given a purpose, a vision, a drive just to keep it hidden. You are meant to shine. And the ones who can't handle it, that's their burden to carry, not yours. The world will try to make you believe that standing out is a problem, that being different, being bold, being driven is something to be ashamed of. But the truth is, the people who change the world are the ones who refuse to blend in. They refuse to conform, to silence themselves, to water down their greatness for the sake of making others comfortable. And that's exactly what you must do, because every time you dim your light to make someone else feel better, you betray yourself. You silence your own power. You deny the world the gift of who you truly are. And for what? To gain approval from people who were never meant to walk with you in the first place. You will meet people who mistake confidence for arrogance, who mistake self-love for selfishness, who mistake your drive for being too much. Let them think what they want. Their perception of you is not your problem. The ones who are meant to be in your life will see your light and celebrate it, not resent it. They will see your glow as a reminder that they too can shine. That's the difference between people who are secure in themselves and those who are not. Secure people don't get intimidated by your light, they get inspired by it. But the insecure, they will try to dim it, not because you are too bright, but because they are afraid to step into their own. And here's the truth. Your light will reveal things in people they don't want to face. It will bring out envy in those who have refused to grow. It will bring out judgment in those who are stuck in comparison. It will bring out resentment in those who feel like life has passed them by. But that has nothing to do with you. Your job is not to fix their insecurities. Your job is not to carry their wounds. Your job is to shine fully and unapologetically, knowing that the right people will find their way to you and the wrong ones will fall away. So don't shrink. Don't second guess yourself. Don't dim your light just because someone else is afraid of their own darkness. Your light is meant to lead, to inspire, to awaken. And if it blinds the wrong people along the way, so be it. Those who are meant to walk with you will adjust to your brightness. They will rise to meet you. They will glow beside you, not against you. And that's how you know who truly belongs in your life. Shining your light doesn't mean you think you're better than anyone. It doesn't mean you're trying to be above others. It simply means you refuse to play small. It means you know your worth, you recognize your power, and you are not afraid to take up space in this world. It means you have embraced who you are fully, completely, without apology. And that is something too many people are afraid to do. They silence themselves. They suppress their greatness. They live in the shadows of what others expect, but not you. You weren't built for that. You weren't created to live in fear of what others might say. You were born to be seen. And yes, your light will cost you some relationships. It will separate you from people who are not meant for you. It will make some people uncomfortable, but that's okay, because the ones who truly belong in your life, they will stand beside you, they will protect your light, fuel your fire, and never ask you to shrink for their comfort. Those are your people. The rest, let them go. Let them talk. Let them be bothered. But never, ever let them make you feel like you need to be less than who you truly are. So stand tall, own your greatness. Walk boldly in your purpose, and never, under any circumstances, dim your light for anyone. Shine, not just for yourself, but for those who are looking for permission to shine too. You never know who you are inspiring just by being unapologetically you. Life has a way of separating those who embrace their greatness from those who fear it. Every step you take towards becoming the person you were meant to be will challenge those around you. Some will admire your courage. Others will resent your strength. But understand this, your journey is not about them. It's about you stepping into the fullness of who you are, without apology, without hesitation, without fear. The world has tried to convince you that you need permission to shine, that you need approval to grow, that you must shrink to be accepted. But that was never your purpose. You were meant to stand tall, to walk boldly in your truth, to be a beacon for those who are lost in their own doubts and insecurities. Not everyone will celebrate you. Some will envy your strength because it reminds them of their weaknesses. Some will resent your success because it highlights their stagnation. Some will try to dim your light because it exposes their darkness. But none of that is your burden to carry. You do not exist to make others comfortable. You are not here to shrink for the sake of those who refuse to grow. Your presence alone is enough to shake the foundation of those who live in fear, because you represent everything they are too afraid to become. And when they try to break you, when they try to question you, when they try to make you doubt yourself, remember, their envy is not a reflection of your worth, but of their own internal battles. Success has a way of separating you from the crowd. It forces you to walk a road that many are too afraid to take. It demands that you rise above mediocrity, that you break free from the expectations placed upon you, that you become everything you were destined to be. And that journey will not always be easy. It will be lonely at times. It will require sacrifices, endurance, and an unshakable belief in yourself. But no matter how hard it gets, no matter who doubts you, no matter who tries to stop you, never, ever give up. Because your journey is not just about you. It is about the lives you touch, the people you inspire, the silent observers who look at you and find the strength to keep going. Your existence, your resilience, your unwavering faith, it is a testimony to those who need hope. Even when you don't see them, even when they don't speak, they are watching. Your courage gives them permission to believe in themselves. Your persistence shows them that success is possible. Your willingness to stand in your truth reminds them that they too can step into their power. That is why you cannot quit. That is why you cannot let fear or doubt or the opinions of others hold you back. Someone out there is waiting for you to rise, so they can believe it's possible for them too. So keep moving forward, keep shining, keep becoming everything you were meant to be. And never let the fears, doubts, or envy of others make you question your greatness. You were never meant to fit in. You were born to stand out. You were chosen to be different. And the right people, the ones who truly belong in your life, will never ask you to dim your light. They will rise with you, they will walk beside you, and they will celebrate every victory you achieve. Let go of anything and anyone that tries to hold you back. Stand boldly in your purpose. Keep growing, keep believing, and keep proving that nothing can stop you when you decide to step fully into the person you were always meant to be. Thank you for your time, for your spirit, for your strength. Keep shining, keep pushing, and never forget, you are unstoppable. God bless you.